You know what your biggest fight in life is. It ain't with your boss. It ain't with your haters. It's not with your bank account. The real fight, the one you wake up to every single morning, is you. Versus you, that man or woman you see in the mirror. That's your opponent. That's the person standing between who you are and who you were born to be. Let me tell you something. You can't keep blaming the world for what you haven't built. Life didn't hold you back. That person in the mirror did. You had chances, you had windows, but you waited, you hesitated. You told yourself you weren't ready. You said, I'll start Monday. But Monday became next month. Next month became next year, and now here you are, still dreaming, still talking, still wishing, and still nowhere near where you said you would be. See, most folks lose the battle not because they weren't good enough, but because they didn't believe they were. They talked themselves out of greatness before the world ever had a chance to do it. They had the idea but killed it with doubt, had the drive but parked it with fear. They were waiting for everything to be perfect, not knowing that perfection is a lie we tell ourselves to avoid starting. You don't need everything figured out to begin, you just need to begin. Some of y'all are sitting on $1,000,000 visions, but your fear got you treating it like it's worth 5 cents. You've been dreaming for too long. It's time to wake up and work, because talk won't change your life. Action will. Every excuse you've made, that's the old you talking. That's the you who's scared. That's the you who's been lied to by failure and disappointment. That's the version of you that wants to stay in bed, hit snooze, and scroll on your phone. But there's another version, that version of you that's hungry, that's tired of being tired, that's ready to rise. That version is in there too, but you've got to feed it. You've got to fuel it with discipline, faith, and a refusal to stay average. And let me say this, you don't get to see the reward if you're scared of the responsibility. Greatness comes with weight, it comes with pressure, and if you want to be more, you've got to carry more. But here's the beautiful part, you were built for it. You've just forgotten what you're made of. Look, the real war is not out there. The real war is internal. It's the version of you that wants comfort versus the version of you that wants to grow. The version that wants to be liked versus the version that wants to lead. The version that wants sleep versus the version that wants success. And every day you wake up, that war starts all over again. The only way to win is to decide. Decide that the old you doesn't get to speak anymore. Decide that failure is not final, that fear is not your future, and that comfort is not your king. Decide that the version of you who's been waiting, watching, and whining, he's done. Because there's a new you waiting to rise. That new you, he doesn't make excuses. He makes changes. He doesn't waste time explaining why he failed. He uses the lesson and keeps moving. He doesn't care what other people think, because he knows most of them are stuck in their own fight with themselves. He's too busy climbing to worry about who's watching. And I know it's not easy. I know life has a way of hitting you when you're already down. I know how it feels to want to believe in yourself, but have a track record that says otherwise. But you can't live there. You can't stay in the space between what was and what could be. You've got to move. You've got to act. You've got to bet on yourself when nobody else will, because no one can want it for you more than you do. No one can climb your mountain. No one can silence your doubt. No one can outwork your fear except you. It's you vs you, and the only way to win is to be relentless. You know what stops people from being relentless? Distractions. People get caught up in things that don't even matter. They spend hours scrolling, comparing, liking, commenting, watching other people live their lives while they waste their own. They're so busy watching others win that they forget they have a race of their own. You want to know why you feel behind? Because you're focused on the wrong opponent. The game ain't them. The game is you. It's your thoughts, your habits, your routines, your mindset. That's the real battlefield. That's where victory is won. If you can master that space, if you can control your internal world, your external world has no choice but to shift. But that comes with discipline. You're going to have to say no to things you used to say yes to. You're going to have to separate from people who love the old you but can't handle the new you. You're going to have to disappoint some folks to keep your promise to yourself, and that's okay, because you're not doing this for applause. You're doing this to evolve. Let me tell you something else. You can't outwork a bad mindset. If you still think small, it don't matter how hard you grind. You're just digging a hole with more energy. You've got to stretch your belief system. You've got to start talking to yourself like someone who deserves to win. Because if the inner voice keeps whispering doubt, the outer you will keep showing up as average. I know what it's like to wake up tired of being stuck. I know what it's like to pretend you're okay while quietly wondering when it's going to be your turn. But I also know what happens when you stop wishing and start working. When you stop waiting and start walking, when you stop doubting and start deciding, that's the only battle you ever needed to win. You get that right and everything else follows. There comes a point when you realize that nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to knock on your door and hand you the life you dream about. You either take responsibility or stay stuck. The second you understand that, everything changes, because now it's no longer about what they did to you, what you didn't have growing up, or who doubted you. It becomes about what you're willing to do right now to shift your future. It's not personal, it's principle, and the principle is simple. If you want different, you must do different. People love to talk about potential, but potential is cheap. Everybody's got potential. It's execution that separates the winners from the watchers. You might have everything inside of you to change your life, but until you decide to activate it, it just sits there, silent, unused, wasting away, while your life plays out like a rerun. You keep reliving the same day, calling it a life. The real problem, you're addicted to comfort, and comfort is the enemy of greatness. It whispers lies like you've done enough, and take a break. It keeps you soft when life requires strength. The version of you that you keep dreaming about, that strong, disciplined, successful version, doesn't come from comfort. It comes from the fire, from doing what others won't, from saying no when it's easy to say yes, from going the extra lap when no one's watching. That version is waiting for you on the other side of the hard. You want to know what real growth feels like. It feels like uncertainty, like sacrifice. Like walking into a gym when your body says quit. Like waking up early when you could sleep in. Like saying no to parties, to distractions, to people who don't understand where you're going. Growth is uncomfortable, and if you can't handle being uncomfortable, you can't handle success. This ain't about proving people wrong. It's not about showing off on social media or trying to look like a boss. This is about you keeping a promise to yourself. Because if you keep breaking your own word, how can you expect to trust yourself? You say you want better, but your actions scream comfortable. You say you're ready, but your routine is full of procrastination. That's not hunger. That's hope with no hustle. You need to get so fed up with average that you start moving different. You start walking like a winner, talking like a leader, thinking like a champion. And it's not about arrogance. It's about awareness. You become aware that your mind is the thermostat for your life. Set it low, and everything stays cold. Set it high and everything rises. Some of you are living way below your level because you never reset your mindset. You're waiting for some outside motivation to push you forward. Let me tell you something. Motivation will fail you. Discipline won't. You're not always going to feel like grinding. You're not always going to feel like being excellent. That's why champions don't move off feelings. They move off principles, and here's a principle for you. If you do what's easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what's hard, your life will be easy. Easy is skipping the workout, avoiding the uncomfortable conversation, putting off the dream. Hard is showing up anyway, doing it scared, pushing past resistance. But you know what? Hard is what makes it worth it. Hard is what molds you into something you didn't know you could be. Every time you push past your limits, you expand. Every time you shut down the old voice in your head that says you can't, you evolve. You build muscle, mental, emotional, spiritual. That's the real growth. That's the you who refuses to let fear dictate your destiny. You ever notice how the greatest battles happen when you're close to a breakthrough? That's not coincidence, that's resistance. The old you fights like hell to survive when the new you starts to rise. That's why you feel tired, that's why you feel stretched, because transformation isn't a gentle process. It's war, and the battlefield is in your mind. You've got to take control of that space. You've got to stop letting weak thoughts run your life. Stop letting doubt and fear set the agenda. You got goals. Then protect your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Everything you want is locked behind the doors in your head. You open them with belief, consistency, and obsession, not halfway effort. Not someday goals, obsession, you vs you. That's the rivalry that never ends. The question is, which version of you wins today? Is it the version that makes excuses or the version that finds solutions? Is it the one that fears judgment or the one that owns the room? Is it the you that keeps saying one day, or the you that turns today into day one? You don't need permission. You need commitment. You don't need cheerleaders. You need clarity. You don't need luck. You need discipline, and you already have everything it takes inside of you. Stop waiting for a sign, be the sign. Stop praying for a way and start paving one. Stop watching others win and go create your own highlight reel. Because the truth is, nobody owes you success. Not your parents, not your friends, not your followers. Success is earned, and you don't earn it with talk. You earn it with sweat, with sacrifice, with showing up when everything in you says stop. That's how legends are built. Your time is now, not next week, not next year, right now. You keep saying you're not ready, but you're more ready than you know. The only thing stopping you is the story you keep telling yourself. Rewrite the story, flip the script, make the decision that from this moment forward you will not be the same. This world doesn't reward potential, it rewards performance, so get up, get after it, become the version of you that you've been pretending you are. Be the one who doesn't fold under pressure, but rises because of it. Be the one who looks fear in the face and says, "You picked the wrong person." You vs you, every second, every breath, every decision. And the only question that matters is, did you win today? Because you can't win the year until you win the day. And you can't win the day until you win the moment. So win this moment, win it with focus. With drive, with an unbreakable decision that you will not be ordinary, that you will not be average, that you will not be another wasted potential. It's your life, it's your race, it's your legacy, so make it count. You owe it to the future version of you who's waiting to thank you for never giving up. At the end of the day, it's not about them. It's not about the world, the haters, the doubters, or the setbacks. It's always been about one thing, you vs you. That face in the mirror is your greatest opponent and your greatest ally. You're either building yourself or breaking yourself with every choice you make. The truth, no one is coming to push you. No one is coming to rescue you. This is your fight, your test, your transformation. You want a new life. Then kill the old version of yourself that keeps making excuses. Kill the part of you that hides from discomfort, that runs from failure, that delays greatness for temporary pleasure. Every minute wasted is a minute you never get back. Every weak decision is a vote for the version of you that stays broke, tired, and forgotten. And every strong decision is a step toward the life you were born to live. So rise, not for them, not for clout, but because deep down you know you were built for more. You were built to lead, to conquer, to overcome, to leave a legacy that screams, "I did not fold." You're not here to blend in, you're here to break through, and the war you fight every day with yourself. That's the price of greatness. Win that war and never look back.